6 million tons of shellfish move across the world each year, reaching markets and restaurants in flawless condition. Unlike frozen seafood, many must remain alive, demanding strict environmental control. A lobster hauled from Canadian waters today could appear on a Shanghai dinner plate tomorrow, but only if oxygen levels, temperature, and humidity remain precisely calibrated. One small error can mean the loss of an entire shipment. What makes this process so complex, and how does the seafood industry ensure success? From the cold North Atlantic to the warm coastal waters of Southeast Asia, shellfish are harvested with precision. Oysters and mussels filter nutrients while growing on submerged ropes or seabeds until they reach the right size. Fishermen pull them from tidal flats, sometimes by hand, while dredging boats haul them in by the ton. Lobsters and crabs, more elusive, wander into baited traps resting on the seafloor. Shrimp, abundant in tropical farms, swim through brackish ponds before nets lift them from the water. Whether wild-caught or farmed, every shellfish faces the same reality the moment it leaves the water. Time is against it, and survival depends on precision. Live shellfish are fragile, requiring precise conditions to survive transport. Unlike fish, which can be iced and gutted, oysters and mussels must stay moist and cool to prevent dehydration. Special crates provide ventilation, keeping them fresh. Lobsters, needing even more care, cannot be submerged in water without proper aeration, or they will suffocate. If left too dry, they weaken and may not survive the trip. Packed in foam-lined boxes with frozen gel packs, they are nestled into damp seaweed or moisture-rich padding that mimics their natural environment. Some travel with their claws bound to prevent them from fighting during transport, ensuring they arrive in peak condition. For those that will not be shipped alive, the process is even more exacting. Shrimp are rushed from ponds to processing facilities within hours, where they are immediately sorted by size, cleaned, and flash frozen at temperatures so low that ice crystals barely have time to form. This prevents the breakdown of their delicate flesh, locking in freshness as if time itself has been paused. Scallops undergo a similar treatment, with their shells discarded and their prized white meat preserved in sub-zero temperatures. If freezing is delayed, even by a few hours, the texture and flavor will suffer. Some factory ships are equipped with state-of-the-art freezing technology, allowing shellfish to be preserved at sea without ever touching land. Once packed into insulated containers, these frozen delicacies are ready for their long voyage across oceans. None of this happens without strict oversight. Shellfish are filter feeders, meaning they absorb everything in their environment, including potential contaminants. If the waters they grow in are tainted by harmful bacteria or algal blooms, they can become dangerous to consume. Before being packed, every batch is tested for toxins and pathogens, with some regions requiring detailed tagging that traces each shellfish back to its exact harvesting location. If an issue arises, entire shipments can be tracked and recalled within hours, preventing unsafe products from ever reaching consumers. Government agencies and international seafood organizations enforce these regulations, ensuring that millions of tons of shellfish crossing borders each year meet the highest safety standards. While science and logistics make large-scale shellfish transport possible, there is still an art to handling these creatures correctly. Too much agitation and live shellfish become stressed, weakening their ability to survive. Too much time at the wrong temperature and frozen products lose their quality. Every step from harvesting to packaging must be executed with precision. Fishermen, seafood processors, and shipping experts understand these risks better than anyone. Their expertise is what ensures that oysters harvested in France can be enjoyed in a New York restaurant just days later, that lobsters caught off the coast of Canada arrive in Shanghai alive and full of energy, and that shrimp raised in Ecuador retain their perfect sweetness after weeks in transit. Without this level of care, global seafood trade would be impossible. Keeping shellfish alive while moving them across vast distances is one of the most delicate balancing acts in the food industry. Unlike other perishable goods which can be preserved with refrigeration alone, many shellfish require conditions that closely mimic their natural habitat. Oysters and mussels need moisture and cool air to survive, while lobsters and crabs must remain in a controlled state of hibernation, alive but not active. Any deviation from these precise conditions can lead to mass mortality, turning a valuable shipment into a costly disaster. Temperature is the single most critical factor. If live oysters get too warm, they will begin to open, depleting their energy and exposing their flesh to bacteria. To prevent this, they are packed in breathable crates with damp wood shavings or seaweed, maintaining the cool, humid conditions they need to stay fresh. Mussels and clams require similar care, with transporters ensuring they never dry out. Unlike fish, which can be stored in ice, live shellfish cannot be submerged in freshwater without suffocating. Every detail, from the humidity of the storage environment to the ventilation of shipping containers, must be carefully controlled to keep them in a dormant but healthy state. Lobsters and crabs present an even greater challenge. These animals are more sensitive to stress, and long trips can be fatal if they are not handled correctly. Shipping live lobsters requires keeping them cool enough to slow their metabolism, but not so cold that they die. The ideal temperature hovers just above freezing, a range that allows them to survive without using up their stored energy. Some shipments use specially designed lobster tanks with aerated seawater, but for longer distances they are typically packed in insulated boxes with frozen gel packs, ensuring a stable temperature for the duration of their trip. They must also be packed snugly to prevent movement, as jostling during transit can cause injuries, which can lead to infections or early death. If a single lobster perishes and begins to decay, it can release ammonia and other compounds that threaten the entire shipment. Delays at customs or logistical bottlenecks can spell disaster. Live shellfish are on a strict timeline, and any unexpected holdup, whether due to paperwork, weather disruptions, or transportation breakdowns, can lead to significant losses. To mitigate these risks, many exporters build contingency plans into their logistics, using alternative routes or secondary suppliers to ensure that no shipment is stranded for too long. Some high-value shellfish, such as king crab or premium lobsters, are even assigned priority handling at airports, ensuring they clear customs quickly and are loaded onto their next flight without unnecessary delays. Beyond the technical challenges, regulations also play a crucial role. Shellfish must be shipped with detailed documentation proving they are free from harmful bacteria or contaminants. Countries receiving these shipments conduct their own tests, and if a single batch is found to contain toxins, entire containers may be rejected. In some cases, exporters use tracking systems that provide real-time updates on temperature, humidity, and oxygen levels, allowing them to intervene before conditions become dangerous. With millions of dollars in cargo at stake, technology has become a vital tool in preventing losses. Despite these hurdles, demand for live shellfish continues to grow, driven by an appetite for fresh seafood in major markets like China, the United States, and Europe. The ability to transport live oysters, mussels, lobsters, and crabs across vast distances has transformed the seafood industry, allowing consumers to enjoy these delicacies year-round, no matter where they live. But ensuring that they arrive alive and in perfect condition remains one of the most complex logistical challenges in modern food transportation. Not all shellfish travel alive. A significant portion of the global supply is frozen, processed, or packed fresh before being shipped to distant markets. Unlike live shipments, which require constant monitoring and precise environmental controls, frozen shellfish rely on advanced refrigeration technology to maintain quality. This method extends shelf life and allows shellfish to be transported in bulk, making it the backbone of the industry. But keeping frozen seafood in perfect condition is no simple task. The process begins the moment shellfish leave the water. Shrimp, one of the most widely traded seafood products, are often frozen within hours of harvest to preserve their delicate texture and flavor. In large commercial operations, they are sorted by size, cleaned, and either individually quick frozen or packed in blocks with a protective layer of ice to prevent dehydration. Scallops undergo a similar process, shucked and frozen to maintain their natural sweetness. Lobster tails, crab legs, and other premium cuts are often flash frozen at extremely low temperatures, sometimes using liquid nitrogen to lock in freshness almost instantly. The colder the freezing process, the smaller the ice crystals that form, reducing cellular damage and ensuring that the shellfish retain their original texture once thawed. Refrigerated shipping containers, or reefers, enable long-distance transport. Maintaining temperatures as low as 20 graus Celsius, they prevent spoilage over weeks at sea. Sensors track temperature and humidity in real time, alerting operators to any fluctuations. If a system fails, quick intervention can prevent the loss of an entire shipment. For frozen shellfish, temperature fluctuations are the greatest threat. If the cargo warms even slightly, ice crystals can melt and refreeze, leading to texture degradation and freezer burn. To prevent this, modern reefer containers are designed with precise climate control, maintaining a consistent environment from port to port. Some shellfish are processed before being frozen, making them even easier to transport and prepare. Breaded shrimp, pre-cooked crab meat, and vacuum-packed scallops are popular choices for consumers who want convenience without sacrificing quality. Processing facilities handle these steps with strict hygiene protocols, ensuring that the final products are safe and ready to cook upon arrival. This segment of the industry has grown significantly as frozen and processed seafood allows retailers to stock shellfish year-round without worrying about short shelf lives. Unlike live shellfish, frozen shipments are less vulnerable to immediate losses, but they still require careful handling. If a reefer container is left unplugged during transit or stored incorrectly at a port, the entire shipment can be compromised. Even minor logistical errors can result in millions of dollars in wasted product. To mitigate these risks, many exporters use tracking systems that provide real-time updates on container conditions. Some companies have begun integrating blockchain technology to ensure full traceability, allowing buyers to verify the entire supply chain history of the shellfish they purchase. With global demand continuing to rise, frozen shellfish play a crucial role in meeting consumer needs. This method of transport allows seafood to reach markets thousands of miles from where it was harvested, providing access to fresh, high-quality shellfish regardless of season or location. However, while freezing extends shelf life and simplifies logistics, maintaining quality requires constant vigilance, precision technology, and a deep understanding of how to preserve the delicate flavors and textures that make shellfish such a prized commodity. For the freshest and most delicate shellfish, speed is everything. While frozen shipments can withstand weeks at sea, live seafood must reach its destination within hours. Lobsters caught in Canada in the morning can arrive in Shanghai the next day, but only if conditions remain precise. Unlike frozen cargo, which tolerates minor delays, live shellfish have no margin for error. Any disruption in temperature, oxygen levels, or humidity can be fatal. To prevent losses, logistics teams coordinate closely with airlines, customs officials, and distributors to minimize delays. Some airports have specialized cold storage areas where live seafood is held briefly before departure, ensuring it stays in optimal condition. Oxygen-rich, moisture-controlled packaging is essential. Lobsters travel in insulated containers lined with damp seaweed or moisture-retaining pads, while oysters and mussels are packed in crates with just enough humidity to keep them alive. The goal is to keep them in a dormant state, slowing metabolism without causing stress. If packed too tightly, they risk suffocation. If too loosely, they jostle during transit, leading to injury. Every step is carefully calibrated to prevent unnecessary losses. Air freight is expensive, sometimes exceeding the value of the seafood itself. A single shipment of live king crab or premium oysters can cost thousands in transport fees, but the market supports it. High-end restaurants and luxury hotels rely on these deliveries to serve the freshest shellfish, knowing customers are willing to pay for quality. However, the environmental impact is significant, as air transport generates far more emissions than ocean shipping. Some seafood companies are working on offsetting this by improving packaging efficiency or developing better storage methods closer to consumer markets. Despite the challenges, air transport remains vital. It connects remote fisheries with global markets, allowing seafood lovers to enjoy delicacies that would otherwise be impossible to access. With demand growing, the industry continues refining its logistics, ensuring every shipment is handled with precision and care. Strict regulations govern shellfish transport, ensuring food safety and environmental responsibility. Since shellfish filter water to feed, they absorb everything in their surroundings, making them highly sensitive to pollution and bacteria. Before export, they undergo rigorous testing for toxins, heavy metals, and pathogens. Many countries require detailed tracking systems, recording exactly where and when each batch was harvested. If contamination is detected, entire shipments can be recalled before reaching consumers. These safeguards protect public health but also create logistical challenges, as delays in testing or incomplete documentation can hold up shipments, leading to spoilage and financial losses. Sustainability is a growing concern. Overfishing and habitat destruction threaten shellfish populations, pushing the industry toward responsible aquaculture and eco-friendly harvesting. Many farms now use recirculating water systems that minimize waste and pollution. Some fishing operations follow strict quotas, ensuring that wild populations remain stable. Transportation itself also carries an environmental cost. Air freight emits high levels of carbon, while refrigerated shipping containers consume large amounts of energy. To reduce emissions, some companies are testing electric-powered vessels and optimizing cold chain logistics to use less fuel. New packaging materials made from biodegradable and recyclable components are also being introduced, reducing plastic waste. Despite these challenges, the shellfish industry is adapting, balancing efficiency with sustainability. Stricter regulations and innovative practices ensure that consumers can enjoy fresh, high-quality seafood while minimizing environmental impact. With demand continuing to rise, the future of shellfish transport depends on maintaining this delicate balance. Shellfish transport relies on speed, precision, and expertise. From harvesting to shipping, strict control ensures freshness. Fishermen, processors, and logistics teams work against time to keep oysters moist, lobsters cool, and shrimp firm. Regulations safeguard consumers from contamination, while sustainability efforts protect marine ecosystems for the future. Rising demand pushes the industry toward innovation, from energy-efficient refrigerated containers to traceability systems that track seafood from ocean to plate. Yet despite the complexities, the goal remains unchanged, delivering high-quality shellfish in perfect condition. The next time a plate of seafood is served, few will consider the intricate work that made it possible, but behind every bite is a global network ensuring that shellfish arrive as fresh and safe as the day they were harvested.